disconnect. Try another channel.
Hello, is anyone? We're at the forest preservation inside the ranger station. We need medical assistance. This is an emergency. Static. You've severed tendons.
Jesus.
I have to disinfect the wound.
We have to find a way out of here.
This is the lake, and these are the trails.
We can't take the trails. He's expecting us to take the trails. We have to take the long way. We have to climb the cliff.
There's no way.
It's the only way.
Your foot is broken. The cartilage is torn. You're not scaling rocks.
No.
Yeah, I think Ren Schmidt is here. Pablo Schreiber is in the house. Two of our young gentlemen are here too, Michael Chacon and Nick Sasso.
So before we open it up for audience questions, I'd like to maybe just start out by asking you a question, Christopher. I just kind of, as an actor who's kind of behind the camera, I wanted to know a little bit about kind of how that was for you and like how it felt to be directing other actors while you were also sort of like having to get into the zone for the scenes that you were shooting.
I guess anything I've learned about it, directing comes from osmosis, from acting. So anything I had to impart to them, which was scant, other than maybe you guys stand over there a little bit and you stand over here. It's sort of just like let them do their thing and hope it's in focus. As far as the acting goes. Technically speaking, had a great crew. Nick Marsh, who shot it. Yeah, just did a great job. Anamorphic lenses. So in writing it too, I just sort of tried to keep it within my wheelhouse, which is my background as a playwright. Just keeping it contained, 3 characters talking, and plot mechanics are pretty simple.
So, did it open up straight up to audience questions? Do we have any audience questions? It's hard to see. Yes.
From the beginning, did you want this to be shot primarily in bright sunlight as opposed to a lot of films in this genre?
The question was, from the beginning, did you want it to be shot in bright sunlight as opposed to a lot of films in the genre that are very dark?
Yeah, we did sort of have a conscious conversation about trying to avoid sort of that generic blue, scary moonlight that's not sourced. We tried to treat it as much as naturally as possible.
Yes. So do you have a plan that they should never ever turn around after they almost killed them?
Yes, I did. And my plan was to have them never turn around. It's a haunted house.
This is the first thriller I've seen in a while with a lot of close-ups on the story. Did you plan that within the script, or did that something that came across?
The question was about the use of close-ups. Was that planned?
Yeah, I have always loved the anamorphic close-up in a horror movie, because it like, as an audience, you want to see the scope, you want to see what's behind, and to not sort of get that is, you just get that feeling of trying to peer around the corner, but you can't. And it's really frustrating, but hopefully intentionally so.
Does anyone have any questions for the other 2 actors? Or, yes?
Okay. Are you like what was your nature skills like? Are you really into nature like that?
What are your nature skills like?
I would say mine are nil. I mean, I'm really good with mosquito repellent, but I would say that's probably the extent of my skills, and that actually was a big draw for the film for me, was that when I read the script and was approached about it, it scared the shit out of me. Just reading it, I was like, can I even do this? So it was a lot of fun to kind of take on the challenge.
I have a lot of nature skills. I'm a very skilled outdoorsman, as you could gauge from my long-winded monologues about being an outdoorsman. Yeah, no, it was fun. We got to be outside. It was hot. We shot it in 18 days.
I would say it was cold, because I was wet a lot. It was cold for me.
Who trained the dog, by the way, last week? Who trained the dog?
Oh, what was her name? Do you remember?
Teresa Miller.
Teresa Miller. Yeah, she comes from a long legacy of like her grandfather, you know, Rin Tin Tin. That asshole.
So did you shoot it in sequence? Because your character specifically, I mean, there's so much of a change from the beginning where she's very finicky and like not interested in doing anything visceral, and in the end it's just brutal. So.
No, I mean I think maybe there was one effect shot we did, but pretty much we got the first act out of the way. Right? Is that right?
It's funny because there were times watching this when I was like, oh, that was that day and that was that day, because actually a lot of the stuff that's right at the top, I think, came in the middle, and most of the stuff that we shot at the beginning was the campfire stuff and the deer stuff. So that was kind of the beginning, and then I don't know. I'm shaking still from watching that. I feel like it was kind of all over the place because when you do, I mean, I feel like our producers can attest to this. When you do a low-budget film, you have to kind of cram as much as you can into each day. So it's more about what's the most effective way to get the movie shot the quickest than, you know, sometimes sequentially what might be best. Like a good example of that was like climbing up the cliff. We did that like one day, and even the shot of me coming over the cliff, I don't remember when that was, but we did the walkie-talkie thing that happened right after that, a completely different day. So it kind of just depends. I don't know.
We have a question right here.
So, with respect to writing the script, one of the most prevalent aspects of the movie is that it's horrifying how young and desensitized the killers are, right? Were you worried about that and you wrote the movie, or you said, I would like to write a horror movie, and you drew on sort of the things that you saw happening in our culture?
I don't know how conscious it was. I mean, it's sort of, you know, going home for like family parties or something and seeing your cousins like just not hear you, you know? It's just, there's this wall, and we're all guilty of it to some degree or another, but it's not, I'm not trying to make like a statement about it or anything, but it I think it certainly, it scares me. You know, even it scares me about myself, like how addicted you are, and you know.
You ended with a very young child pointing a gun.
Yeah.
So are you sure you weren't trying to say something? I think you accidentally said something.
Honestly, that was, I mean, this sounds like a horseshit answer, but it was, I had a dream about that image. It wasn't like, I turned my brain on and like, oh, this is going to be a anti-gun control or gun control movie or something. It was, I wanted the image of, I wanted this not to be Deliverance, where you sort of, you know, she's just in this rural world. I wanted her to come back to our world, you know, that this forest is like 2 blocks away from like a Walmart, you know.
So we have time for a couple more questions. Yes?
No, I hadn't. That wasn't intentional, and no, that's not a comment or anything.
Hi, I just had a question for the actors. And just, it's sort of about mindset. Between the two of you, there was sort of this, feeling that there was something going on. Did you guys talk about that beforehand? Did you work on how you were going to portray that? And the second question about mindsets for Ren, is that your characters is, we found out she's pregnant. How did that affect how you played the parts, especially once it got very physical? Was that in your mind, like you were doing it?
Yeah, did everyone hear the question? Okay. A little bit, sorry.
Acting mindset.
Yeah.
The two of them, did they talk about playing the relationship and
Yeah.
how did she?
So how did you kind of form the acting mindset and your relationships within the film?
I mean, I feel like that was something that we discussed kind of when we got to read the script together as a cast, like how that progresses and I guess what the nature of it is. But I don't know, Pablo and I didn't like sit down and say, well, I think it's this, and I think you do this, and it's about this. I think, at least for me, from Whit's point of view, it was more about being seen by someone, and I guess someone really kind of look at you and look inside you almost and understand you. And I think the thing that was really hard for her about that was that the person she wanted to be doing that wasn't there. So I think it was more about connecting with someone and someone listening more than anything else. I mean, I don't think, for me at least, it didn't feel like a sexual thing. It felt more of like a connection.
Yeah, the nature of the relationship between Ren and Sean was one of the worries for me going in of how it would come off in terms of his apparent lust for her, which I didn't want it to come off as him being lustful of her or wanting to sleep with his brother's wife. And so Chris and I and Ren had some conversations about it, and what we settled on in terms of what we thought the dynamic of the relationship was that he was a damaged guy who was looking for any kind of connection and also wanted to get inside the time that he had missed in missing his brother's wedding, and really that he was looking out for his brother as much as he was wanting to connect with somebody after coming back from a dark place. So I'm not sure what ended up there, but that's what we talked about beforehand.
And sorry, as far as the second part of your question, I don't know, for me all of that stuff was instinctual. I mean, I think once that mother instinct, it's just about surviving. So I don't feel like, I feel like maybe that's what gave her the extra push to actually do what she did. You know, I would hope that if she wasn't, she would have been able to do the same thing, but I don't know, I think that wasn't kind of like an extra impulse. So for me, those scenes were just about what's happening now, what am I reacting to, I have to make it out. I don't know if that is helpful.
And you know, like on a budget like this, it's not, you know, there isn't the money for like all these special effects and stuff, so it's like you're in cold mud, you know, like it's just horrible, real cold mud. And she did it, and it's not every actor that would go in there and do something like that, so it's a testament to you.
So I just want to say this is such a fantastic, multi-layered film, and so much more than just a straightforward genre film. And we really are so happy to have had it premiere at Tribeca. So thank you so much, and thank you all so much for coming.